morning.
Good morning, Veena. How are you keeping on?
I'm good. How are you?
Yes, I'm good, thank you.
Yeah.
So I managed to do a correction of one paper. I'm happy with the answer. It was all right.
Mm-hmm.
There were a few gaps, but I think it's generally all right. I mean, in passable stage. So
Mm-hmm.
that's good. I mean, just keep on doing the answers. The other one, I will correct it today somehow, and I will let you know that one also.
Right. Okay.
Right. So before
Kumar,
yeah, sure.
sorry.
Yeah.
The length is fine. Like,
That's all right. That's all right. Because I'm going to talk to you on that one because you don't need lot of quantity. What you need is lot of quality.
Okay.
Yeah. So long as you can manage the time, what
Mm-hmm.
you need is even a short thing is all right, but not. What we need is the straight to the point, the quality. So your approach is good because you say specifically, I'm addressing these two issues, and
Mm-hmm.
try to work on underlining the particular issue and trying to work it out. I think that's a
Mm-hmm.
very professional way, because otherwise you just go on writing general so many things and you might not do well.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think that's all right. I think the quantity is all right, definitely all right. Yes.
Okay. Fine then. It's fine. Okay.
1 and 1/4 pages for 45 minutes is good enough.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. Fine. Yeah.
Right. So today, just before I start on the next mock, because now we are on the second 3-hour session. I think we did the
Mm-hmm.
first one. I think, did we do the value chain last time?
Yes, we did the value chain. Yeah.
Okay, so we had done the value chain. So we will do the second part of that one. But before
Mm-hmm.
moving into that one, as I promised, we will look at some of this examination in little bit of detail. What is
Mm-hmm.
expected at the management case study examination? So I had done a little bit of some slides, which I want to discuss with you.
Right. All right. No problem.
Right.
Yeah.
So basically, all these are what I did it because I'm doing classes with another party called Ultimate Access, mostly for the Middle East students. So I did these slides, so I'm sharing that one with you also.
Right. Okay.
So first of all, you must remember that you are the finance manager always. In the
Mm-hmm.
operational case study, you are the finance officer. In the managerial
Mm-hmm.
case study, you are the finance manager. Strategic case
Right.
study, you are the senior finance manager or a special or a senior manager. Here, you are
Right.
at the middle level, and your responsibility is to monitor the implementation of the strategy. Now, strategy
Mm.
is the long-term action plan of a company to achieve the objectives, long-term objectives, that is
Mm.
decided by at the senior level at the board of directors. Once it is
Right.
decided, the implementation happens at the lowest level. The people who
Mm.
are working
Yeah.
in the lowest level. You at the middle level, you don't work. I mean, you're not really at the number crunching and all the working. You are basically monitoring the implementation.
Yeah.
So you have to remember that one very clearly. And the focus
Mm-hmm.
is very much on the medium term, not the long term, not the short term. Operational, you are basically at the short term. At the strategic, you are at the long term. But here you are looking next 3 to 5 years kind of a scenario.
Mm.
That is what your role is always. So the
Yeah.
third one, need to translate the long-term strategy into more tangible short-term goals. So the board might decide on long-term strategy. You have, as the finance manager, should be converting that into some short-term, medium-term goals.
Yeah.
Budget is a big part of your job. It's not again the number crunching. It's all about the way the budgets to be prepared. Now, in the film industry, for example, what is the kind of a budget we can prepare? Should we take the zero-based approach? Should we take the activity-based budgeting? Should we go with the incremental budgeting? Right? Now, if you remember this question, they said in the unseen, they say they look at something called comparables. They look at a
Yeah.
similar film, and that's the kind of a budget they prepare. So it's more of a incremental type of thing, not based on the previous year, but it's based on a previous comparable film budget. They will do the changes and prepare the budget.
Right.
Then also you are basically in charge of, or rather help the management to take decisions about investment in products. So maybe a new film that is coming up, they might ask, Veena, is it all right, this film, for us to invest, kind of a thing. There may be certain issues arising, there may be certain cultural issues or whatever. So they might want to know, is it all right? What kind of a pricing? Now remember the film, it will have different connotations, different pricing structures. In your own country, you might work with on a profit sharing basis with the film halls.
Yeah.
But when you are selling it to other countries, you might sell the film on some kind of a outright payment and maybe some royalty based on number of tickets that they sell or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Right? DVDs, you might have to do a pricing and put the DVDs on the market, whatever. Then the other ways you are selling the film on downloading. Again, you have to decide on a pricing. So these decisions, they might ask your views, your opinion about it. Then about the long-term assets. Now in this company, you see that they don't have too much of property, plant and equipment, but you never know, they might decide to go for a new property, something like that, or they might want to invest on some new technology like 4D, all that kind of IT thing. So there may be some net present value analysis where you may have to give your opinion or views. Then the fifth one is obviously the sixth one, 2, 3, 4. The sixth one, understanding of business environment and the stakeholders is a very, very important one for your company, the maintain, because your film will go into different parts of the world where different cultures of people are living. So you have to be careful what is going to be screened in Europe may not be suitable for Middle East or Indian or whatever the environment. So you have to be very, very sensitive, the editing, subtitling, now things like, for example, say something like a Buddha statue or something like that can be somewhat very offensive for a country like India, Sri Lanka, that kind of environment. So you have to be very, very conscious. And about the stakeholders, I saw a nice answer what you did today about the stakeholder. There was a little bit of a thing because the customers, they don't have a power, Veena. They are low power, but they are actually interested in the film. Right? So the high power, high interest are the key people. Here, in this case, the board of directors, they are the people with the high power, high interest, and the major shareholders, if at all. So always you have to look at from the stakeholders' point of view. It may be, in your case, most of the stakeholders will be the main cast, the film, the cast, the crew. So you have to understand their requirements, because some of these people, they might want, special flights, special accommodation, special kind of, beverages, all that kind of a thing. So you have to see into all that items. Performance of both individuals and the division need to be measured. So in a film, as I said, the three performance indicators will be cost or the budget, managing within the budget, delivery time, and success or the quality of the film from the viewer's perception.
Right.
Then the individuals here will be the people who really participate, the key cast, and also the other people like the editors, the script writers, all that. Their performance also we need to have some kind of a measurement. In the pre-scene, you would have seen they have in the last couple of pages, they say they went through some of those, they have ranked from number 10 to 1 down the people according to the comments and the likings and something what they have received. So social media is a very, very powerful tool which can give you a lot of viewer responses, but that's not good
Hmm.
enough. You might have to set up certain performance targets for your producers, directors, all that kind of people.
Right. Yeah.
So the skills that is expected of the finance manager is basically a detailed knowledge of risk for long-term decisions. So what are
Hmm.
the risks? So I think here again in the pre-scene there are certain risks that they have discussed. So we need to know what are the risks. Now here particularly in this, one of the biggest risks is trying to get money, long-term
Yeah.
finance, right?
Finance
Because
risk. Yes.
you remember in the 1 week in Moscow, 60% of the finance came from them, 40% came from outsiders, external third-party investors. Right?
Yes.
So always the long-term finance can be a problem because even for you, you are not going to have unlimited 60%. Your monies are restricted. Once you invest in 1, 2, 3 fields, after that, you may be struggling with the finance. So you might have to think of rights issues in this company
Hmm.
to raise
Hmm.
money, share issues. So I think in the last paper, so they had a question on the rights issue. So you might want to know that kind of a thing. One thing what we realized was in the presentation of financial statements, there were certain gaps in this one. They were not showing the current liabilities and these were unaudited accounts, but there were certain gaps in the statement. So about the group accounts, they might ask, they want to acquire another company, another competitor, and what are the accounting treatment? Should it be treated as an associate? Should it be treated as a subsidiary, consolidation? Whether we can keep it away from consolidation. So IFRS 3, IFRS 10, IAS 28 may become very relevant for us.
Hmm. Okay.
Right. Then management information. Now what kind of management information in a film? Film, the management information will be continuously monitoring the budget versus actuals. How much progress of the film has gone, how much budget gone, and what is the actuals. Cost
Yeah.
report, so yeah, it's all about the costing. Finally, at the end of the film, we must know how much we have spent on the production, how much we have spent on advertising, etc. And present reality true numbers. So you remember we were looking at that question on target costing, 571, 550 if you remember. It was only a 21 million what we needed to reduce from a total cost of 571. But the reality was bulk of those costs were already incurred. So it was just not out of 571 reducing 21, it came to a question of reducing 21 from about 60 million, what was not spent yet. So reality true numbers. So you have to always be very, very conscious, sensitive towards the numbers. You can't just blindly do some calculations. You must be very, very conscious of the reality true numbers. So the last question, the target costing question, it brought that into our attention. And finally, the people skills is you are basically reporting to the chief financial officer or the finance director. So you should be able to influence. Influence means I saw your answers. You basically come out with some kind of a recommendation which should be very attractive, positive, and the people will accept it. That is your leadership skills. That is your business skills. Sorry, the people skills. So
Right.
maybe your CFO, maybe your CEO, senior managers, senior business managers, and Chan, when they come into the scene, you should be able to sort of give that kind of a reply. So this is what is expected of the skills that is expected at the managerial level. Remember, you are tested on 4 levels of skills: technical, business, people, leadership. The 2 big skills we are tested is technical and business, but in every area we need to collect the marks.
Yeah.
So this time normally they mark the paper from 150 and we want 90 marks to get through the exam. But this year, this last exam, they have reduced it to 80, which is good news.
Oh,
yeah.
good.
Yeah, 150, 80 out of 150 is the pass mark. So there are a lot of students who got 81, 82, 83. and everyone got through the exam.
Okay.
So it's about 53%. Now, not a very big percentage. Only thing is we have to get the 53% in every area of skill. So for example, the technical skills, you have to get 53% of 39, and like that you have to get it in every area the same amount, because if you get big marks in technical skills but you don't get that 53% in people skills, you might fail the exam.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So I had a student this time, she has done in 3 areas. In one area, I think she has business skills. That was, of course, I won't blame the examiner, because she was not doing well on the pre-sale. She was very interested in doing all the other things, but she, even when I want to discuss the pre-sale, she says, no, I know the pre-sale very well. And so finally in the pre-sale, she failed it. In the business skills is all about the pre-sale.
Okay.
You must know your pre-sale very well. Of course, in the exam, you get the pre-sale on the screen, but you must know, even if you have to refer, you must know where it is there, at least in a rough stage. Because otherwise, you'll be searching up and down 26 pages, you have wasted your time. You don't need to memorize, but you need to know what and what are there in the pre-skill, all that kind of thing. So these are the 4 skills we need to do it. So in the strategic level, all the skills you have equal thing, 25%, 25%, 25%, 25%. But at the managerial level, bigger marks for the technical skills. That means the models. So we will look at some of these things. In material, you should get familiarized with the organization. You must know the maintain company so well by the time you go for the exam. And by studying the pre-sale, you will demonstrate business skills. That is where the business skills will come. You know the company very well, and that is what we call the business skills. How much money roughly they have? Can they afford another new loan? Can they go for a rights issue to the market?
Okay. Yeah.
So one thing, some of these, I think I've seen some of these tutors putting up lot about the industry and asking you to research the industry. They say you don't need to do too much of research on the real life and the statistics. You just can Google it, get little bit about the film industry, but don't overspend time trying to find out what happened, that happened, all that kind of a thing. The introductory overview should be read thoroughly. That is, otherwise the pre-scene, the first few pages should be read very thoroughly. Remember only key themes in the pre-scene. So the technical skills, the 39% of your marks are coming from technical skills. It's all from your E2, F2, P2. So this is where I say always go to the BPP pass cards, look at some of the theories, try to pick up few theories, master those things so we can apply those theories. Like what you apply the Mendelos today, try to apply some of the theories, maybe things like Ansoff, matrix, new markets, new this thing. Maybe on the F2, it's all about corporate group financing, group cash flows, group structures, etc. Maybe in the P2, it can be transfer pricing. All that we need to know some of the models so that we can apply to our particular scenario. Then what is expected is to explain the benefits of applying the technique or to interpret the findings previously prepared analysis or report. So what we are expected is not to tell what is Mendelos matrix. The Mendelos matrix examiner knows how to apply that one. The moment you talk about some actor, someone going mad or something, you have to say, as for Mendelos matrix, this fellow is a high power, high interest fellow, and him going crazy can have a big impact upon our film or whatever. You might want to, they might give us certain ratios analyzed and all that kind of a thing. You are not supposed to calculate some of the thing. They have given us already some of the item, and you might want to analyze and to give an interpretation or a report, something like that. So basically, it thoroughly examines the high-level soft skills such as analysis, interpretation, and justification of your recommendation. So whenever you make a recommendation, that must get justified why you are making that recommendation and not something else.
Okay. Yeah.
So this was the TOPSIMA model that was adopted. Always a recommendation should be justified. And also little bit of the main actions that need to be done to implement your recommendation.
Okay. Yeah.
Then the next one, the 24% comes from the business skills. It's all about you need to appreciate the business context, the context in which the mentee operates. Who are their competitors, right? So they are the, you remember our company is the largest company in Europe. So we are surely based in Europe, but our currency is not euros. So we are in Europe, but maybe in a non-euro region. Our currency was something called B dollars or something, a fictitious currency. So we have to understand we are the largest filmmaking company in Europe, and we are basically selling films to the entire world. You should develop an interest in the business. This is why I say pre-scene from now onwards, every day you must start reading the pre-scene. Just read 5-6 pages every day and try to get something new out of it. It's like, we read in our Bible or whatever, our religious book. As we go on reading, we get some revelations which we did not have it earlier. So it's a good thing to keep on reading the pre-scene from now onwards till the exam, just 5-6 pages on a daily basis, so that you come to know the company so well. Practice and review business-based case studies. This is what we are really doing now. All these mocks should explain benefits and drawbacks of management accounting techniques specifically relevant to the industry and the business. So here it's not only management accounting, even financial accounting. We saw the presentation not really in line with normal IFRSs, because remember they said they are preparing financial statement in accordance with IFRSs, but we saw both the income statement and the financial statement, the statement of financial based statement, it was not in accordance with the IFRS presentation, right? Because they showed things like depreciation and all that kind of a thing. They did not show the current liabilities. So there were a lot of things on the thing, and also the drawbacks of management accounting techniques. So sometimes you remember in the earlier some scenario we were doing, the people are fighting about the budget. So sometimes just going purely by the budget, it can be a drawback, because you may just not do a quality film, but you might stop it at the budget. So you have to be you should be able to discuss the pros and cons of having a budget. You need a budget. But on the other hand, sometimes when you get really tight to the budget, or where you are being restricted to the budget, you might not be able to do certain things which you want to do, because the budget says no, budget is full. Finally, very important, you need to be conscious of the fictitious organization in which you work. You must know who are the people, who are the executive directors, who are the non-executive directors, what are they, what kind of experience they have, what kind of a background, all that you should know. This is what we call the people skills. It's all to do with the job specification. You must know your job very well. What is your role in the company? And you remember in this company, they did not give too much of details about the job. They said you are the finance manager, right? So skills of communication. The skills of communication is skills of persuasion. When you say something, it must be something that they know, yes, it is coming from Veena. This is something we must do. So you must present it in such a way that they get convinced that it is something that they must do. So when you say I recommend, you must say why you recommend and persuade them to do it. And finally, but not the least, skills of understanding the needs of others. The most of the time where we fail in this exam is when we don't really understand the task that is behind us.
Okay.
We go and write pages on the wrong need and we don't get any marks. So we must be, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I only do one thing. I just pray on the paper. I try to ask because it's very difficult in the examination in that looking at the computer screen for you to exactly get, it's not like we discussing now, in that examination pressure with the clock moving up and down, all that, not easy for you to get. So I of course, I just say, say a prayer, try to find out what is the need of the real. You remember the earlier question, the risk of scheduling the film and showing it on the scheduled day. That was the question. Lots of students wrote about risk of not showing it on the scheduled day. That was not what was asked. Right?
Okay.
Because the question, if you really look at, they were talking about, additional expenditure, all that. So the people went on that one and started discussing of risk of not showing the film on the scheduled day, additional expenditure, etc. But the question was something else. So you have to be very smart, intelligent, get some divine guidance to find out the skills what is needed to understand. This is where we can fail in our exam. Finally, the leadership skills. Here you are expected to analyze the situation and consider how to guide the performance. You might get into a situation where things are not working, like in the DC3 field, and what can I do? What is the way forward now? You remember in that DC3 question, it was a very tough thing, but finally by bringing the Plate, they managed to do it and it became a box office hit. So we as leaders, we know we have the tools, as the doctors have a lot of tools. When a patient is so sick, still they can analyze and make the patient alive. We also have lot of tools with us, even though it's saying all negative, we can make it a positive scenario. So this is what is leadership. Leader is some person who takes things, who never takes things negative, who will always try to see that silver line in the dark cloud and try to build up on the silver line. So always, of course, you must be very careful. Don't encourage them to take unnecessary risks. Try to be the Sima shadow on you, to be very conservative, but also to be practical, also to be somewhat sensitive to the situation. So manage organization and teams to change. Now this is a very important area. Certain things need to be changed, the way that you do things. So whenever we do change the things that we do, one thing what we have to do is we have to always get the support of the many people. Get the support of the many people. So these are some other things. So mostly E2 theory will apply. And finally, this statement is something which the examiner has told. Response need to be appropriate to the issue at the hand than demonstration of book learning. So in other words, she says, don't write the book all what you have in the textbook. Apply what that is to the real situation in the hand. Maybe, for example, some of the crew members, because we have not provided them the facilities what they expected of you, they might say next shooting they are not going to come. So that's a situation that is there. So we have to see how can we get them to come. Right? So it's not applying all what you have learned, the carrot and the motivation and the stick and all that theories what we have learned. Apply the theory and see how we can motivate these people to come back to us.
Okay.
So the exam scene, as I said, there will be 3 to 4 sections. Normally it's about 4 sections in the managerial case study. Each section, generally we have seen it a 45 minute, but not necessarily. It can be a 135-minute section and another one 60-minute section, aggregated to 180. So it can be always like that. But so far, the managerial case study had been 4 equal 45 minutes. So then in each section, we saw many tasks. It can be 1, it can be 2, it can be 3. The task will be a kind of a request or an instruction or to provide information or analysis. This is what we have seen all this time in all the papers, all the mocks what we did. So this is answer planning. Read the scene, set in information, the unseen. Identify the task in the question. I told you this is the most difficult one. So immediately once you get, you're going to read the paper, read the unseen, try to identify what are the tasks. You have smartly identified in the earlier case, even though the ethical aspect was not specifically asked as a task, but you wrote and said Anton Chan should not have, gone and told all those things which is unethical. So like that, you must be able to identify your task and plan the answer to cover all aspects required of the answer. All these should get in about 15 minutes time. So reading, identifying, planning the answer, you must do it in the first 15 minutes.
Okay.
So you are just given a kind of a board or something like that, where on that you can write all those whatever the bullet points. So you know this is how you will structure the answer. Then on the bullet points, you just develop your answer. Quality is important than quantity. So that's what I said. You don't need to worry whether you write 3/4 pages or whether 1.5 pages. What need to be worried is, have I done the right answer? Quality. Always try to use short sentences and short paragraphs. Don't try to write 2 big paragraphs and 2 big sentences, because sometimes it can divert the attention of what you are trying to say when you try to write 2 long paragraphs and sentences. Keep the language appropriate to the recipient, because the recipient may be a finance person, recipient may be a non-finance person. So you have to look at that one. Finally, this is very important. This is your integration. Insert paragraphs or section headings, which you have been doing very well. All the time insert paragraph, put up underline, put up a bold kind of a thing. These little things can take the mark from 79 to 81 and between the fail and the pass. So insert paragraph, section headings. 5 minutes before the section is over, a warning will be given. Stop writing, read over the answer to ensure. So first 15 minutes gone. Last 5 minutes, once it comes, stop writing. So your answer should cover the points you have raised in your plan. Present a logical discussion. Prioritize issues according to what you understand the concerns of the organization. So this is the point where you might cut and paste. You do something, whatever, just to see that your answer comes out very well. This is what your answer check in the last 5 minutes. Time is 150. You need to get 90. Now it's not 90, it is 80. But in every competency skill, you must get not 60%. Now it's about 53% to pass the exam.
Yeah.
So these are the things you need to. I will share these things with you, just for you to know. If you just focus on these areas, you should be doing very well. I mean, our last exam, we saw students doing very well. So you can always work on that kind of a thing. I think it should be all right. So generally, the people who have worked on this kind of a schedule have done well.
Okay.
Right. So now shall we go into the next part of the mark? Remember the first mark in the third question what we were looking at, it was all about the value chain. Right?
Yeah.
So here some consultants came and they were asking about putting up some value chain in a field. It is very important because all those links, the primary activities and the support activities like finance, getting together only will create the ultimate value product. Right? So everyone has a role to play, from the pre-production right up to the production, right up to the marketing, right up to the screening. So everyone needs to play a role. I can imagine a question like this. They might want to manufacture it, to set up a company to manufacture DVDs. They might want to outsource DVDs, right? So in the outsourcing, they have to be very careful that, they have a count of the number of DVDs they sell so that they get a royalty or whatever it may be. I can imagine a question coming up on them acquiring a film cinema, a chain of cinemas to ensure that their films will be screened without any hassle. I can imagine a question somewhere on acquisition of a TV channel or setting up a TV channel and going into the tele scene scenarios. These are some other things so we have to be remembering on the value chain.
Right.
On this question, it was all about the value chain and whether we should focus on a low cost strategy or a differentiation strategy. So I think our thinking was we should be going on a more on a differentiation strategy rather than on a low cost strategy. Right?
Okay.
The quality that matters, because if the quality fails, if you don't get the right cast, right people, your film may be a failure. Today we are moving from that one into the second 45 minutes of the same one. Let's look at what they are talking about. You received the following email from Stephen, our CEO, and Stephen says, TV documentary. I have attached a transcript of a documentary about the film Summer Night, which was shown on TV primetime entertainment journal program portraying Stan forcing sexual abuse on Anita, his co-star. The broadcaster did not seek our response, and so we are unaware of it until it was broadcast. So one of our films, our main actor has had some naughty things to do with the co-actor, and there had been in our TV channels, in one of the prime TV channels, there had been a documentary that has gone about our film Summer Night without being informed of to us.
Okay.
We had only few hours to investigate, but the basic story appears to be true. Our director Eugene has interviewed James, the producer who is in the video, and it appears that Stan is guilty of forcing sex on Anita, the young and upcoming co-star. Stan, who was number 2, has dropped to 8th position this year, in mainly due to his notorious relationship issues. So this man was in that pre-scene. He was number 2 last year, but because of his relationship issues, he has dropped down to number 8 in the pre-scene.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have signed Stan for this film and for many other films yet to begin production. Summer Night is about 45% completed, and if we are to take action against Stan, the film would have had to suspend production for anything up to 3 months until we sign a new actor. Right? So, because the actors are busy people, they have already signed many contracts and suddenly your one goes wrong and finding a new one. So this is why the value chain becomes very important. Getting the right procurement, right? Getting the right procurement, getting the right people. So whatever it is, they have got the wrong person and they knew about this man's character, this man's reputation, but we have to maintain the scheduled delivery date of the film, which is scheduled for screening in another 9 months' time. And it will be impossible to meet the deadline if we decide to go for a new main actor. So again, we are in a bit of a crisis. We will of course check and monitor the behavior of Stan from now onward, and we'll keep Anita all the time from his forced abuses. We will find new actors for films that are pending production where we have initially thought of Stan because of his low cost. So they have gone on the low cost strategy. And they have found the wrong man into the film, and now it is causing problem. However, this will mean delayed commencement of production of all films at least for 3 months until we can find alternate actors. So it is not only this film, even the other films here they have signed. So they have to find a new co-actor, and it's going to create a lot of problems for them.
Okay.
Ella believes that we can expect a large claim. Ella is the legal director of our company, believe that we can expect a large claim from Stan if we terminate his contract for Summer Night, and even Anita may lodge a claim against us after the TV documentary, because it is clearly portrays our producer is not bothered about Anita's being subject to harassment. So it's not only the problem of films getting delayed and all that. This man can go and file action against us, and also this lady also can, claim against us, because now she is exposed in the TV. We can expect to blame by critics all over for employing Stan, knowing his low moral standards.
Right.
Who was number 2 has dropped to number 8 because of his, and we have gone and signed him and with this young upcoming star. The scenario presents the company with a significant risk from our supply chain, which we need to consider. Supply chain is all the supplies we need to produce the film. So the value chain. Value chain is all what we need to produce the film. The supply chain is all the supplies what we need to produce a film. Supplies are actors, actresses, and whatever other thing.
Yeah.
I need your thoughts on the following. So here we have 3 tasks. How can we organize our supply chain better to prevent a recurrence? Clearly getting the right access is only one of the many facets that we use in the film industry. How can we address the inevitable claims that we have acted unethically and against the public interest? Can we take any action against James for not informing the BOD about his interview with the reporter? Let's look at this TV documentary. TV documentary video, an undercover reporter is working in Mentine Studio. He has a tiny video camera in the pocket with the lens wired into his name badge. So he's one of our employees, but he's a disguised man. He's a press reporter.
Right.
So we can see one thing, we have in our recruitment, we have made a mistake. We have recruited some person without probably going for proper background check-in. He's a person, he's working for the press, but he became one of our workers. So he has a tiny camera in the pocket with lens wired into his name badge. The reporter is in the crew of the film titled Summer Night, where the main role is played by number 8 Stan, who is notoriously known for his relationship with his co-star, makeup artist. He has videoed an off-shooting act of open sexual abuse by Stan on his co-star Anita, a young upcoming female model. And after doing that one, so with a hidden camera, he has taken this act, whatever it was, and then reported to the producer of Summer Night. So after that, this man with the video in his hand, recording the naughty act, he's going to the producer of the film and he's asking, I saw Stan forcing Anita to do certain immoral acts which amounts to sexual abuse by Stan. Should we keep him in this role anymore? And producer says, just turn a blind eye. We need not worry about what is happening between them, as he is comparatively cheap this year as a main actor because of his low popularity. Our main actor is Stan, and if an issue arises, we can replace Anita with ease, but it will be difficult to get a main actor in the caliber of Stan for the price quoted by him. So far, Anita has not complained, and I think it is okay to ignore the issue. Now you can see the stand of the producer. So this man is recording all these things. And finally, in the TV, they show this whole thing. The reporter shows this entire video clip on TV 2 weeks later on Prime TV, including the conversation he had with the producer. So, you're caught red-handed. The actor was caught red-handed with the actress forcing some naughty things. But our own producer is taking a stand and saying, look here, it's all right. She has not complained. And if something happens, Stan is more important to us than the young girl. So, let's ignore the thing.
Right.
So this is real life situation. This can happen in this film industry. And, you can see how amateurishly our producer James have reacted because he thought that it is all right. It's something that has happened outside, and let us not bother about it. Everything on the recording. Everything on the recording. So today we have to be very, very conscious whenever we discuss, whenever we do something, because all the people have these little video gadgets. They can always record any conversation and they can put us on the spot. So this is happening. Last week I saw our own Inspector General of Police at a certain meeting. He's taken a telephone call and he's probably telling to one of the politicians. He addresses the politician as sir and says, "Sir, don't worry. I will ensure that that man is not arrested." And that had been recorded by the media. The whole telephone conversation was recorded by the media, and immediately it came on the TV and said the Inspector General is addressed some person at the other end as sir and said he will not be arrested.
Okay.
So today we have to be very, very careful because with this technology things can go. So this is something you probably will advise the people, whenever they this is what we call professional behavior in SIMA Code of Ethics.
Yeah.
On and off the field, we have to be reminded we must behave in such a way that it will not bring any disgrace to our profession. It will not bring any disgrace to our job or our company, maintain wherever we were.
Yeah.
So this is simply the scenario. Now you know the scenario. So the first thing, how can we have an organized supply chain better to prevent a recurrence? Clearly getting right actors is only one of the many facets that we use in the film industry. So first of all, shall we look at that part? It's all about the supply chain. Right? They're given us a very specific scenario, but they are not now asking about the scenario at the moment. They're asking us for the future how we can prevent a recurrence. So we have to talk a little bit about the supply chain.
Okay.
So what is supply chain? Supply chain is in the film industry, it is the procuring of these various people, not only the people, even the other procurements what we have to get and getting them converted into the production of the film. Right? So we have to procure, supply chain is all that, getting the right procurements and converting them into the film. So procurement includes in this case the cost. So getting that is what the supply chain in the film industry. Now in the manufacturing industry, the supply chain is about getting raw materials from third parties and conversion of those raw materials into the finished components at the factory. Now if you write that one in this answer, that's not right. That's the normal book definition. The book definition of a supply chain in a manufacturing is to purchase of raw materials from third parties and the conversion of those raw materials into finished products and other components in the factory. Now you can't write that kind of a definition for the film industry. So film industry we have to remodify and write this is what they say, not the book knowledge, but application of the thing to the scenario what we are in. So here we have to say in film industry, the supply chain is to procure right people, right crew to the film and all other components to the film and bringing all that to make the film. So that is what it is all about.
Okay.
Now we have to see, so that is just to describe the supply chain. So we have to see how can we organize our supply chain better. So one thing you can take it from one of the early examples what we did. I think in this mock, the first section, we spoke about the differentiation strategy.
Yeah.
So one thing is the the selection of the crew, particularly the actor and the co-star, is a very, very important aspect. It's a very important aspect. So it's not the price that matters. Getting the right people into the co-star and to the into the actor main cast and the co-star is a very, very important one. You must admit the temptation will be to find the cheapest.
Cheapest one, yeah.
Right? Cheapest. The temptation will be always to find the cheapest, because you can't because till the film is produced, you do not know what their thing is. But however, we have to be mindful in the film industry. We must take the people from the guild, and also we must look at their ratings whenever we want to look at the film. So particularly in Stan's case, we see him coming down in his rating. Right? If you remember the pre-scene, he was coming down in his rating very badly, purely because of his, the character. So let's look at what they were talking. So we can quote. Now this is something, probably you can't memorize everything. You might want to go to the pre-scene at the stage and do it, but you know where it is in the pre-scene. So I remember it was at the latter stages.
Yeah.
I don't need to go searching for all this. Straight away go and see, hey, what do they talk about this fellow Stan? Number 8 Stan, definitely moving in the wrong direction. He was our last year's number 2 star. So this was in B Land. He was the number 2 star. No box office failure this year, although Autumn Blows was a little disappointing. But his fall from the grace has been caused by a massive drop in his likability factor after those revelations about his many relationships with co-stars, makeup artists, hairstylists, drivers, his wife Julie, one of the best loved pop princess at all time. So this was bound to affect how we look at him. But they do say there's no such thing as bad publicity. Maybe he'll bounce back next year. So that is all about what we see about this man.
Yeah.
What can we do to prevent this? Now this has happened, right? How to prevent this in the recurrence in future? Where did we go wrong here?
We considered choosing a strategy which was more
low cost.
More low cost. We should have chosen a strategy which was getting the best actors.
Yeah.
And best people in a particular film.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is one thing. Then where did we really go? Because we as a business, as an organization, we have a duty to care and protect all our employees. In the film industry, it's the same story. We have a duty and a care to protect all our the co-stars, that kind of a thing also. So here,
yeah. I was just telling, can we also mention about the value chain here, because we have this thing called human resource in value chain.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I mean, because if one component of a value chain doesn't work well, obviously it would affect quality of the film.
Exactly. You're right. Yeah. Because here the human resource is all about the giving protection and having a kind of a opening for any grievance hearing, that kind of a thing.
Right.
So so here this lady Anita was exposed because due to our own negligence.
Yeah.
This happened during one of our shooting situations. If it has happened sometime, if it is happened outside the shooting, it's a different story. But this has happened during shooting in off time. So it's our duty as a main team's duty to protect these people whenever they are working for our company. You're right. The value chain, the human resource part has failed here.
Yeah.
We are not given a value to the human resource here. That is what has
Yeah.
happened. And we can see the attitude of our James. Basically, she thinks, this girl we can always replace, but we have to kill the man, and therefore let's ignore the whole thing. So basically, I think the idea will be we need to investigate the reasons why it happened. Right? The producer, his negligence or whatever, we have to find out why this kind of a ugly scenario happened inside our own company or inside our own control. Right? And then we must ensure that we take all actions to prevent this kind of a thing. So probably the way would have been to at least to mitigate, to have a code of ethics.
Right.
Saying that, the way that we behave with our opposite sex and all that kind of a thing. It's not only opposite sex today, even you can have the same sex kind of a thing. So we have to have a kind of a ethics on the behavior to say, just like this is where you can quote, just like SIMA code of ethics, that people in working for our company should not bring any disgrace to our company, whether during shooting hours or off shooting hours. And that is what SIMA has told us. Whether it's we are in office or whether we are in home or whether we are in a pub or wherever, we must behave in such a way that we don't bring SIMA profession into disgrace.
Right.
So that need to be worked out. So so as she says, it's not only getting the right actors, even on the other areas of the film, we have to ensure that we do right selection and work through a better supply chain with parties of reputation and give the protection and to have a code of ethics. These are the points. If you can work on all those points, I suppose you should be all right.
Yeah. Okay.
What I want is now, you can think of the second part and the third part. How can we address the inevitable claims? Can we take any action, James, for not informing the BOD about his interview with the reporter? You can try to think in a very common sense approach and see whether you can write an answer on this one. So when we meet next, we will discuss the second part is all about the ethics. The third part is all about our the company relationships, the kind of the behavior of company senior people, all that, the confidentiality of information or the information to be provided. So, but the board action. So we will talk about all those things. You can write answer and we will discuss this second and third, including the first part again.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Now, how is your calendar next week, Veena?
I'm fine. Any day after Wednesday, like any day in the weekday, or weekends as well. I don't mind.
Yeah. So 20. You're fine on morning hours generally,
Yeah, morning hours is fine as well. Yeah.
Yeah. 26th is Thursday.
Yeah.
26th Thursday. 11 o'clock, 26th Thursday, same time?
Yes, 26th Thursday, 11 o'clock is fine with me. Yeah.
Okay, shall we make it 26th, 11 o'clock?
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll keep the 26th, yeah?
Yeah, I just need to ask, like, will we be continuing to mock, continuing with the mocks for all the, I mean, for every day now, like every time we meet?
Yeah. Because what I thought was we can cover up different subjects. I want to do one set of mocks now. I'm doing the second set of mocks now, and after that, I don't need to do on the same sequence, but I will take up different subjects and do mocks. Any
Okay.
ideas? You have anything else you want to do? But
No. It's just that I was just asking, like, will we be doing only mocks for rest of the time we
yeah,
have?
because what I thought was through the mocks we can learn our theory. Now, for example, we learned the value chain. We learned
Mm-hmm.
about the ethics. We are learning. We are so
Mm-hmm.
like that different aspects of the scenario. All what is coming up in the P2, E2, P2, we will try to get it
Mm-hmm.
to the marks because rather than trying to do a theory session on any of the areas because it can be a waste of time. Uh, Look at different scenarios related to the maintain and to do it. That's what I'm planning.
Yeah.
You're welcome. I mean, at any time you can say anything that whatever you feel, we can always change it and do whatever the way you want it.
Yeah, so I just want
Mhm.
that like after we finish some mocks,
Okay.
can we arrange a kind of test session because in the exam obviously you'll not be there to explain me
Yeah.
what the question asks, yeah.
Yeah.
So something of that kind which also test my speed of
Yeah,
writing
now
and how do I manage time, everything.
that's the next stage what I do. So after now the next 1 or 2 lessons we will do where I explain. Then what I do is I will put
Hmm.
you just on the spot on the screen with the mark.
Hmm.
Now I send it to you in
Okay.
advance, no? But we will put the 45-minute section on
Hmm.
the screen where you will,
Hmm.
it's not me, you will decide what are the points, what are the things, and you will try to do it straight away in
Okay.
at that point. And then,
Right.
we can discuss it and see what are your points, should we include more, less, or whatever it may be. So
Right. Okay.
maybe after the end of the month, we can think of that one.
Yeah. Okay. I was just concerned, like, here you are there to explain me
I know.
everything, like, you
Yeah,
know.
because no, that's
Uh,
what I do now. I just started with the operational case study that scenario because now what I do
uh-huh.
is I just put the as if in the exam I just put the mark
Hmm.
just 45 minutes and ask the student to do
Hmm.
what he thinks
Right.
and to write it all that kind of a thing. So we can do that one. And also then
Yeah. Okay.
I can give you a couple of homework stuff where you can take the
Hmm.
45 minutes and do it without any guidance. So far at the moment I'm guiding you to get
Hmm.
some of the basic theories inside out. Then after that you
Hmm.
will do it by yourself. Yes.
Right. And shall I also be reading all the models, like again,
Better. If you
just
can
to get
go
just to get,
yeah, better
yeah.
if you can get through the past cards and go through some of the E2, P2, F2 models, it will be very good.
Hmm.
Yeah.
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 Do it.
Okay, fine. I'll do that then. Yeah.
You have the past cards, no?
I have the basket. You have already forwarded me.
Okay,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, just go to that one. That will be good for you.
Okay. Sure.
Okay.
I
So
will.
I'll see you on Thursday same time, Veena.
No problem, Kumar. Have a lovely
Okay.
day.
Thank you. Take care. Have a great day.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.